It's time to go for a walk as we bring you up close and personal with the newest player in the world of high-tech electric golf push carts. It's called GOZO, and this is one you need to see. Hello friends, Bill Hobson here. Welcome inside the MGL Sim Studio, but for just a couple of moments before we head outdoors, because today we are introducing you to the newest player in the world of high-tech electric golf push carts. This one from GOZO. To give you a feel for what we'll be doing in the next few moments, I always like to treat these reviews as if I'm you, as if this box just arrived at your house and you are super excited to crack it open for the first time, find out what's inside, and then go through the setup process and the actual on-course usage. Well, that's what this review is going to be. I have never opened this box. The original shipping tape is right on it. And so while we're inside, we're going to explore what's in the box, what it looks like when it arrives at your home, and then we'll leave the Sim Studio behind, head to a nearby golf course, and put the GOZO through its paces. So here's what I expect to be in the box: the cart and the battery. I don't think there's a whole lot more, but again, I don't really know that for sure. So here we go. You know, there's no turning back once you make the original cuts. It's kind of fun stuff. Got some instructions along with a QR code if you'd like to get your instructions in a video form online. And then everything else is just very carefully packed in here. And first and foremost, right off the top, we come to the battery. Battery life is advertised as being good for about 36 holes between charges, so that's kind of nice. It's very hefty. I would estimate this weighs right around 10 pounds. We'll be charging this up as soon as the unboxing is done, so that when we head to the golf course, we're good to go. But here's the battery. We have a couple of attachments that came along with it. This one would be for your umbrella, an umbrella holder, so I like that. That's a good thing to include. And of course, you have your charging cord and some other clips and supports that we'll get into in a bit. And as you would expect with anything that has a battery, we have the battery charger that comes with it. That's what was in the white box. I don't think you can see up here in this corner of the box, but here's a little box within the box, and my guess is this is going to contain the remote control that we will be using through many of the operating modes of the GOZO, and lo and behold, there it is. Very lightweight, very convenient, very compact, and I believe the bracket for it, yes, is in this bag so that you can attach it to your belt. We'll get into that when we get outdoors. And now for the final piece of this puzzle, we have the cart itself from GOZO. So that's what's in the box. Now, let's take all of this outdoors, set it up, and show you how it works. And just like that, we are outdoors at a golf course in Frankenmuth, Michigan called the Fortress. It's one of my favorite courses. And we are now going to walk you through the setting up of the GOZO. And here's the good news. It's really pretty simple. There are essentially two steps to get this thing from folded up to ready to roll. The first step is going to release that latch, which gets the handle up and out from the unit. And then all we have to do is pull out this little pin, twist it a little bit, because that's going to release the wheels to go and do their thing. Once they're all in place, put the pin back in, and the GOZO is essentially set up and ready for the battery to be put into place. Now, after we did the unboxing in the Sim Studio, I did put the battery on the charger because you want to make sure you're good to go for 36 holes is roughly what this battery capacity is. When we go to insert it, you slide this end in first, and the rest of it just falls into place. So we've got it unfolded, we've got the battery in. Next, the bag. Whatever size bag you have, the GOZO is pretty much ready for it. You always want to make sure that the bottom of the bag is resting on that pedestal, and the top, of course, will fit into the arms up here. And then we've got a couple of bungees that are adjustable in their size so that they can capture whatever size bag you have. Here's the one up top. That's secure. Here's the one down below. And again, just goes through. And now your bag is good to go. Your GOZO is good to go. And it's time for us to take a look at the various operating modes for this cart. Okay, we've got the unit set up, we've got the bag on the unit, but before we go any further, a quick note about a little frustration I had during the setup process, because when the cart was still folded down, I had a great deal of difficulty getting this pin to come out. We found out after several attempts why that is. That's because it was actually being bound up or caught on the handle that was still folded down. So if you're having difficulty getting that pin to move, just make sure that the handle isn't the cause of that. And once you get that loosened up, the pin comes out with really no problem. So that's a setup note for you to kind of keep in mind. Meanwhile, let's take you on a little tour of the accessory possibilities that we have here with the GOZO. There's the cup holder, which is attached to the side. When you're putting the unit away, you want to fold that parallel with the handle, but obviously once you have your water bottle, you want to fold that down. We also have, wait for it, the umbrella holder. The umbrella holder attaches over on this side so that if you want to kind of shield yourself from, well, the elements, the sun, the rain, whatever it happens to be, this attaches right onto the side. Now that's good to go. Some of you may choose to control this unit instead of using the remote they provide. You can control it through the GOZO mobile app, and there is a phone holder that attaches right here. By the way, some of you will also think that that's a great way to keep your phone handy so that you can monitor your texts and emails while you're playing. Don't do that. No phones on the golf course. Get out and enjoy nature. But if you do find yourself in that situation, this phone holder comes right in here and screws into this side. So just a couple of the accessories. There are more available, but these are the highlights for what we have in the kit that we received. Having said all of that now, let's review real quick. In the Sim Studio, we did the unboxing. We come out here, we did the setup, we put the bag on, we walk you through the accessories, and that's all the basics. Now it's time to have a little fun and fire up the GOZO so you can really see what this thing does. So now let's take a look at the display unit, which gives us an indication of the various operating modes of the GOZO. First and foremost, the easy step. We're going to turn everything on by holding down the dial for 2 seconds, and you'll see the entire display spring to life. Every time you power on the unit, it defaults into lock mode, indicated there by the lock. You also have your battery indicator on the right side, that's kind of your fuel gauge, and there's a trip meter, an odometer in the lower right. Those are the basic pieces of information that you'll always have on the screen. But as we start to talk about different operating modes, let me turn on the remote, which is simply powered on with that button. And then I'm going to double tap the main button, the dial, on the unit to take us into other modes. The first one you see is an assisted push, where you can then take the control dial, move it to the left, and it will actually allow the unit to begin moving on its own with you walking behind it. And that's really for those who prefer to have a cart in front of them that they're touching, because you can certainly do all of these things with the remote on its own in the follow me mode. But that's what that mode is. That mode is, I want this thing, I want to walk behind it, but I want to have it powered a little bit to help me. And you can control the speed all the way up to a full jog if you want to. So that's one mode. Now, I'm going to unlock it by tapping the dial. And now in this unlocked mode, we have a couple of options that are connected to this remote. One of them is the follow me mode. If I hit the silhouette of the puppy dog on the remote, the puppy dog lights up here, and as we'll demonstrate in just a couple of moments, that is the true follow me mode. I'm going to turn that mode off, and we are actually in, when nothing else is lit up, we are in just free flow push mode, in case you needed to maneuver it in a parking lot, or if maybe you forgot to charge your battery and you discover that I've got nothing else to do except for pushing this. So that takes us through most all of the modes here as they're displayed on the unit. And again, single tap locks, single tap unlocks, Double tap brings up a different mode, in this case the assisted push mode. So that's a general overview of what you will see on the display. Now let's put all that into action so you can walk down the fairway with me in these various operating modes. Okay, let's walk you through the various operating modes of the GOZO. It is powered on. I have hit the dial button one time, which is to take the lock off, and until you give it some other command, this mode is literally just pushing like you would with any push cart on the planet. Again, you didn't buy this to go into manual push mode, but if a situation arises where the battery's dead or you're in a really tight area, that's probably what you want to do. From there, let's take it over into the assisted push mode, which now I hit the dial twice, the symbol lights up with the hand on the grip, and now I get to set the speed by turning the dial to the left as I go for a walk, and I can touch it, but I don't have to. I'm going 2.4 miles per hour, which is far faster than I normally would move. But now you don't have to do the work, but you can still do some redirection if needed. And then when you're ready to stop, you just turn the dial back to the right and we get to 0, right? So now we get out the remote. And the beauty of these electric push carts these days is that the remote is very simple. There's literally one dial on here. With the first method of operation, all I have to do is unlock the cart and I can begin with the joystick, taking the GOZO wherever I want it to go. It's especially handy if you're coming up to the front of a green and you'd like to get your putter out and then just send the cart over to the next tee box or somewhere away from the green area, and it's all done forward, backward. It's all joystick controlled left and right, and it's very, very smooth operation. I will say, in all of the electric push carts that we've reviewed over the years, the remote operation of the GOZO is the smoothest, and the responsiveness is really, really cool. Part of that is because you can go into the GOZO app and adjust the tolerances so that this moves kind of with your preferences in mind. We'll talk about that app here in just a couple minutes. Also, with the remote, you have the option to put the cart into what's known as cruise control, so you don't have to hold down the joystick the entire time. What that means is you're going to send it in a general direction, and then by hitting the joystick up twice, the cart will just take off on its own, and each time you bump up the joystick once, it goes a little bit faster. But it will continue on that line until I stop it. I can go left and right, so I'm going to change the direction of it, but the speed will continue, so that again, if I grab my club and I just want this thing to go over to be ready for my next shot, that's exactly what it's going to do. I'm going to turn it around, still in cruise control, and bring it back this way. But again, it's doing all of that without me having to ride the joystick. So that's another operating mode within the GOZO, and not a bad one, by the way. If you don't really want to have it in follow mode, but you also don't want to have to ride the joystick the entire time, just put it in cruise control mode and you can send the GOZO wherever you'd like it to go. And then, let me go back to lock. And as I showed you a few minutes ago, I'm going to unlock it. I'm going to hit the puppy mode, and now I'm going to put this remote in my back pocket. And we're just going to go for a walk. And the GOZO is going to come right along with me. And I've got this set up to follow me at about 2.5 meters, I believe is what I set it up at in the app, because I don't like the feeling of something that, you know, could be clipping at my heels, so to speak. Now, when I stop, the unit stops. I can come back and get my club, but I also need to hit the puppy dog face again on the remote so that it doesn't start moving while I come back to get a club out. So the puppy dog mode, the follow me mode, really responsive. I turned it back on again. And when you use that mode, you'll just want to keep the remote probably on your back belt. And all you have to do whenever you want to stop walking, and it stops walking, and then you just tap the puppy dog one more time, and the unit's in standby while you come back to get your club, hit your shot, and then you just start walking again after you hit the dog silhouette again, and away we go. And the operating modes of the GOZO are really, really simple, and as you can tell, it's really quite responsive and very impressive. Okay, so one of the questions that I've been asked every time we do a review of an electric push cart is how does it handle slopes? How does it handle hills? Well, we're never going to want to take it up a side slope. You wouldn't do that really with a riding cart, but we're going to go up here, which is probably about a 10-foot rise. And the wide base on the GOZO, I think, is going to keep it pretty steady. So we'll come all the way up top here. And again, I'm doing this in follow mode, but you can do this in any of the modes that we've already demonstrated. So as I come around here, come back down the hill, and as we head back to our starting place, and it continues to follow me, so far, it's done a really good job of keeping up. You'll see how it navigates this last little slope as we come back to the point where we started. I'm not suggesting you're going to go to Mount Everest and have this follow you up the entire way, but it's very, very sturdy. And I think one of the attributes of the GOZO that makes it stand out from some of the other carts is the width of those rear tires and the width of the spread of the back tires, right? So both the tires themselves and then the base that it establishes is very helpful when you're dealing with slopes and hills. Now that we've walked through the various operating modes of the GOZO, a quick note, you do want to download the GOZO app because that's where you'll change most of the settings. So let me take you inside of it just quickly. Some of you will prefer to see metrics, meters, and some of you want to see miles per hour. That's what happens inside the app. And then you have the ability to adjust all of the steering sensitivity, the cycling sensitivity, the follow distance, and so many other special little aspects of this, including the speeds at which you would like the cruise control to work. So make sure you grab the app, walk all the way through the various settings. Once you get out and have a chance to use the GOZO, it'll mean a lot more to you because you'll be able to tweak it for your preferences. Okay, friends, we have taken you through the original unboxing. We've set everything up. We charged the battery, put it in, threw the bag on, showed you what the display looks like, and walked you through all of the key operating modes. And so now the remaining question is, are you in the market for a cutting-edge technology robot follow-me golf cart like the GOZO? If so, we have a special promo code for you to check out and a lot more details available on the GOZO website. I'm very impressed with it, probably on my letter grade scale. We're in that range of an A-, and the minus is because of the little difficulty we ran into in the initial setup. But this is a great technology, and if you are one who wants to get out and walk more often when you play golf, I strongly suggest you take a look at the GOZO. Thanks for joining us. Please hit that subscribe button. We'll see you next time.